before we get into this live today, guys, let's sit down and talk for a second. I want to truly thank the 3 channels that are coming on here with me and talking about WandaVision. These guys have spent a lot of their life just learning about WandaVision through comic books and different sources. So we need to truly thank these guys, JKL Awesome, Discovery Bay Comics, Mr. TechBot, for coming on here and educating us about WandaVision and everything there is to know about the MC universe. And I hope that I said that right, the MC universe, and everything that they know that they've spent so long learning about. And I talk a whole lot about checking out my membership and checking out the Patreon only giveaway, and I still want y'all to go check those out. But I also want y'all to go check out these channels, and I want y'all to go check out their memberships, and I want y'all to go check out their Patreon only, because these are all really awesome channels. And if you're not subscribed to these guys already, you must be living under a rock somewhere. But right now is the universe telling you that it's time to go check them out. So if you'll go down to the description below, you'll see every one of them. And I want to say that it starts off with JK Awesome. So go to his channel, make sure you're subscribed. Go to Discovery Bay Comics, make sure you're subscribed. Go to Mr. TechBot, make sure you are subscribed. But while you are there, guys, go check out their Patreons, go check out their memberships. All of these guys have really awesome channels, and I can't thank them enough for coming on here and educating us about the WandaVision and the Marvel Universe. It's been a really cool journey, and we're going to continue to go down it. So expect lots of spoilers, expect lots of laughs, and expect a lot of fun. And thank you for hanging out with us.
What is going on, guys?
Pretty sweet, man.
Hey,
That
how
is
are y'all
awesome.
doing today?
What's
Man,
up?
So hey, look, let me apologize to everybody who's been waiting for a while. I think when we started doing this a long time ago, we kind of decided that we kind of do this to hang out and chat and chill and have a good time. And if it doesn't make sense for all of us to be on here at the same time, we're gonna kind of delay it and put it off so that all of us can kind of get on here, hang out, and chill together. And I really appreciate y'all taking the time today. Look, I know everybody's busy. We all have lives outside of here, and thank everybody who waited for us to get on here. But we're on here now. JKO, how you doing, brother? He looks like he's sleeping. Is he okay? JKO,
Is he
okay?
froze?
I think he might be froze.
I think he's froze.
Look at him messing with us. That wasn't even right.
You're muted, though. You are muted.
JB, how are you doing?
Yeah, I was muted. There we go.
I'm good, man.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Chris,
I'm sorry,
what's going on, bro?
guys.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Just come clean. They were waiting on me. I wasn't here.
Oh, it's you. We weren't just waiting on you. It started off with me. So I had a swim meet yesterday, so I had to push it back today. And JKL has work, and everyone knows how that goes. Everybody knows the struggles of getting on here. So we're on here now.
Absolutely.
We are on here
we're
now.
good.
What do y'all
We're
think about this episode, though? Look, I look
so
for
good.
once. I think I know how this series is ending. For once out of the series, I honestly look, and I'm not saying like Iron Man and Doctor Strange are coming in. I think honestly, for once,
I have a whole new theory that I've never pitched before. Never pitched it before. I will be pitching my theory now, and I'm also gonna teach you. Not teach. I'm gonna be the poster child for bad spec. I'm going to be the person that you said he's one of those morons that went and bought a bunch of these because he's coming. He
I told you he's coming. He's gonna be out next week.
He ain't coming, bro.
He's not
He ain't
coming.
I changed my whole outlook. I know what's going to happen now. Let's get into it now.
You showed him next week.
Let's get into it. I don't have any graphics today, so it's just good. We're just going to be talking and shooting.
Let's talk.
But for once, I'm going to wait till the end. I honestly think I have a real theory on how this all plays out.
I'm still sticking to Mephisto showing up.
It's not happening.
I hope you're right.
Hey, let's hit the chat real quick.
He's got a lot of money on it.
I made it wrong.
Kenneth Bird, we appreciate you hanging out. Creative Minds, good to see you, brother. Andy, we always appreciate you showing up. Let me see who else we got. JK Awesome hit the chat. Yesy Lou, brothers, good to see you. Chase's Kingdom, brother. Discovery Bay Comics is over there. All right, who else we got? That looks like it, guys. We appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us today. If you have anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to pause these guys on, make sure you throw a comment over there. Say, hey, time out, pause real quick. Let's talk about this for a minute. Let's get into it. Let's go. Educate me. I've got to hear it today because I'm excited.
You're going to have to drive the ship today. I got no graphics. I'm just going to roll with it.
All right. So, of course, the episode starts out. Unfortunately, we didn't get any answers on the after credits from last week or the week before, but that's okay. That's going to come up next week as soon as Mephisto comes up and grabs those kids and brings them back to hell. That's where it's going.
I'll tell you, he's showing up. Don't worry about it. He's in love with Mephisto and Robert Pattinson.
As soon as you see it next week, you're gonna be like, "Shit, this is right." I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Hold on, pause. JKO, what did you say again?
I say he's in love with Mephisto and Robert Pattinson. I'm not saying Mephisto can't show up. I'm just saying it's unlikely now.
The true baby daddy is showing up.
I hope you're right.
I still think there's something to it.
I hope you're right.
I think Agnes is being possessed by someone, so it could still be Mephisto.
The devil.
One of them. Definitely.
All right, so let's start off at the beginning. The beginning of this show didn't start off in any series, right? This is the first one that they didn't start off in like a 50s era or none of those, right? I mean, this one started off like WandaVision.
Well, it started off
not
on the Salem witch trials to show her, basically where Agnes came from or Agatha came from, and how her story kind of come out. Of course, as any normal witch back in the day would have had a coven, and they would have been trained by certain areas. Now, of course, the big thing to point out in this is, the head witch in here was saying, hey, you were deemed to be looking into things that wasn't at your level yet. Because as a coven, as in years of learning your witchcraft.
Is what she said.
Yeah,
you're
have
practicing magic above your age.
I have a feeling, though, this woman was her mother.
Yeah,
it was.
Yes.
Okay. It was her mother.
That vibe that.
But also, you also point out that she dabbled a lot into the dark arts, which again, where does the dark arts come from? Again, this is to me, this is another precursor to what I continue to keep saying. The dark arts. Because she continued to dabble in that, she continued to dabble. Where does the dark arts go? Dark arts have to do with the devil.
Mm-hmm. Right. So now
who is the devil in this point?
Don't use the devil because then it won't go to China.
Okay, that's right.
That's how I knew Mephisto was not happening. Not roll through China.
Nah, that has nothing to do with it though. This is.
I was counting, and I was. It wasn't 7. The number was.
Yet. Doesn't matter.
The number was off. This wasn't the whatever Salem 7, but this is, witches. And the first question they asked her was, "Are you a witch?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm a witch."
And I was like, "Wait, what?
How many were there?" I figured JKL, but how many witches were around the circle?
I believe there were 8.
Were there 8?
And
5.
With
Agatha.
Mom, there was 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus Agatha in the center would have been the 9th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I was thinking there was 6. Maybe that was the heck.
What do you think they were chanting?
Hold on. It was in Latin.
Yeah,
I actually did remember it's in Latin, and it had something to do with.
So it's not the Salem 7.
No, that's not the Salem 7. That was her coven. That was her coven.
Yeah,
dude, I think we just ruined his whole theory. I think we can see the steam coming out of his ears. He's like, "What? Oh, that's not the Salem 7." Oh.
No, that was her coven that she destroyed.
That's not my theory, but still, just rake the comic book off of it because I thought I had something.
Here's the. I don't know. I'll probably use the word wrong, but here's the difference between two people using. She's dabbling in black dark magic, and they're like, it's above your station in age. We're basically gonna punish you. We're gonna kill you. Yet Doctor Strange did the exact same thing, dabbling in the dark black magic, and they're like, dude, you're the shit. We're making you Sorcerer Supreme.
He's like, they're making you.
Even the ancient one, she was using the dark magic. Remember, the ancient one was using the dark magic.
I don't think they said it was forbidden. They just said that it was above her
station.
Right, above her.
What I think happened is she probably read that book and got possessed because in the beginning when she kept saying that she wasn't she wanted to be good and she didn't know what they were talking
That was
about.
an act.
Just look at the mannerisms. Like she was changing from evil to not knowing what was going on. I think, and then when her power manifested, you could see like she looked down like she didn't know what was happening.
I think they pushed her
And
over
she
the
also
edge.
said, she said, it
I
bent
think it
to
was
my
an act.
will. I didn't break any rules. They bent to my will.
Right. You don't break the rules. You bend.
Now, when mom, you know, the 7 witches start putting the blue whammy on her. The purple whammy starts to take over, and it looks like it's sucking their life out of them.
Pulling them
right
in.
as they're getting all old and so Mama says no. She raises up in the air, and when Mama hits her hard, did it look like Mama had like a little?
Yeah, she had a crown.
Like a little crown thing.
Crown.
You know, what does that mean? Was she the white witch, the red? You know,
well,
what does that mean? I don't know.
That's from the
is there a bunch
book.
of different shades? Is she the fuchsia? If there's a scarlet, is there a lavender? I mean, you know, is there a bunch of different shades of witches? I don't know.
Well, you know,
Marvel,
they might do that.
She was the queen bee for the coven, and even a lot of times within most covens, you know, if you read from back in history, even if we're going off a real, you always had one supreme, you know, witch that was out there, and that supreme witch was the ones that always seemed to, you know, they were in the highest regards, they were everything. So my guess was the crown had to do with the fact that she was the supreme being, and she just knocked her off. So now, you know, Agatha was the supreme being.
And then we get the brooch comes from her mother. It's a little family heirloom. Took the brooch. Whether it had any power or not, we don't know.
I'm actually not going to agree with that comment actually there because there's actually a point at the end, and I'm going to get to there why I think she wanted her magic. That's why she went into this. That's why she was trying to find out where it came from. But she's afraid now that she understands what it is.
Oh, I 100% would agree with that for
completely. She's afraid of it.
All right, so what's
now, what Wanda has is supposed to be a myth. It's supposed to be a legend.
Right. So what's the next thing? So we get out of that one and we go
is now we're back in the basement, right?
Yeah, we're back in the basement.
Because that closes. You know, we see Mom go down, her face is all in her. She takes the brooch, goes black. We come back to the basement, and I swear every single line out of Agatha's mouth is like key information coming out of her mouth at this point. The next 5 minutes of Agatha's dialogue is just spot on.
You realize she's talking to Scratch too?
Yeah,
it starts with Scratch up in her ear, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you think so?" You know. Now Wanda immediately tries to like defend herself and gets no love. And Agatha's like,
got the incantations around.
She says, "You don't notice the runes? You don't." And they start highlighting the first one. You gotta say it looks like Magneto's crest up there, the first rune. And she points to the runes and says, "You don't recognize the runes? Because the witch that controls the runes controls the magic. How do you not know
that? Right? Because she's at that moment, she's assuming Wanda's a witch, so she should know all this stuff.
Yes,
but she doesn't understand that.
And it was such a huge line right there. How do you not? This is what you know. Agatha's like, the reason I'm here is because there is some huge use of magic, and I want to know how you did it.
And Wanda doesn't consider herself a witch. She's not into that.
She didn't know she was. I don't think she knew she was a witch.
She had power.
Yeah, she didn't even know she really had these powers. Probably deep down in. These could have been the X genes the entire time, very possibly. But and even going into a Creative Minds comment, she caused it because she was dabbling in the dark magic, so she knew how she was able to suck the life out of her fellow witches. But what Wanda is something completely different,
right?
So she can't do that.
Wayne, tell me, are you there right now with us? Were you about the same thing?
I am right here with you, but I don't
feel the revelations when she said, you know, because it felt it. I felt it in Agatha's voice. She didn't know how. You know, how do you not know this information? This is like basic stuff. You know,
did anyone else notice how well she I can't always forget her name.
Catherine
how well she is playing.
Catherine Hahn is killing it. So now it wasn't a fly. It's called a what? What was it called? Those things?
Cicada.
So Agatha takes the cicada and she starts to kind of, she uses some very key words here. You know, the first one she says is feeble minds can be manipulated easily, as she's messing with the cicada and she makes the thing fly over to Wanda's face. And she goes, but you're messing with people's minds miles away on autopilot.
Yeah.
How are you doing that?
Right.
And then she takes the cicada back and says, transformation. Is that what you call it? Transmutation. And she turns this thing into a bird. She goes, takes years to make the smallest transmutation, and you're running the most complex down to the crown molding.
Yeah. Yep.
How are you doing it, sister?
Right.
And you're like, she really, this is, and
no
Wanda
idea.
don't know. Wanda doesn't know. She's like, I don't know. You know? And it was,
I don't know how it happened.
It was so powerful. She goes, okay, well, you know what? We're gonna find out. We're gonna take you back.
Also, you miss one
everyone
spell.
that doesn't read comics or watched, you didn't even have to watch the Marvel movies. I mean, if you didn't understand what her backstory was, it was going to be explained in these next 3 doors that she goes through.
Right.
You know, they're going to explain Wanda's backstory, and in the first door that she goes through as a child, they have done a massive retcon to anything that's ever been printed in Marvel Comics before, right here in this scene, because
this scene was the most important to me.
You know, we get it. You could feel in her happiness too, man. You could see as a little girl, she's watching how happy it is to see her mother and her father, who didn't sell any movies. I mean, how could he? There's a freaking war zone outside. Who is he hawking it to? Which side was he trying to sell the movies to? Because there was literally a war zone outside the door.
He's
right?
a bootlegger. Come on.
and they said that this night is TV night where they're only supposed to speak English on this night, you know. So this is their tradition, and they learn to speak English through watching these sitcoms, which is the base of her happy place.
Yeah.
Because
it's
there
also
was
getting away because, like you said, outside her window there's a war zone, but inside her little bubble, her house, she's escaped reality.
Well, that's where I think this one segment, this one door, this one piece of her life just explained everything.
Well, it explained that there was something special about her to start with, because that's the
key.
It explained that you know her that bomb came in. There's no way in hell
Stark
her parents
bomb,
were
by the
that
way.
close to her. Her brother was that close to her. There's no way in hell they should have even survived. Now she even back then probably had the abilities and stuff like that, but she didn't realize it. She didn't understand it. She didn't get it. And herself is probably the reason that bomb never went off.
But what are the words she used? So now, first of all, tell me, guys, was it powerful? You're watching the happiest moment. She's a little girl. She's smiling. She looks
Watching
over
the
her
Dick Van
shoulder.
Dyke Show, loving it.
And it's just as good as it gets. And then
boom! It was look.
It was
I ate up that scene. I ate it up,
and it was shocking because they'd hit so hard, but there wasn't a scratch on her. And her and her brother end up under the bed where the shell lands, which we knew. If you watch any of these Marvel movies this year, this is the scene that they described. They talked about it. We've talked about why the toaster blinked the red, because it represented this scene in her life.
right?
But Agnes drops the bombshell that you put a probability hex on that thing. Keep it from exploding.
Keep it from exploding. She told her she did it.
Remember, from the very first scene of the very first freaking movie that Marvel put out in this set for Iron Man, his shit don't fail. His arms don't dud.
Yep.
Okay, this is Stark technology. There are no duds in Stark weaponry.
That's right.
So it wasn't fluke. This is a retcon to her power set, really. You know, she would, as a child, had put a hex on this.
Yeah.
On this
It's
bomb
not really a
to keep it from going
retcon.
off.
That's the power
And then
she had.
Agnes said it was the power she had, but
it's a retcon to the Marvel way she got.
to the Marvel, because Marvel said that it was all the Mind Stone, and that's why she was so tied to Vision, and only she could destroy it because she was built from the Mind Stone. She wasn't built from the Mind Stone. She had powers before. She just didn't know it.
It's almost like again, it could have been similar to having the X gene at the same time. Maybe she had an X gene. Maybe she's technically more of a mutant, but I don't think so. I think she automatically had these powers to start with, and she just didn't fully realize it from the get-go. Because again, these type of powers, chaos magic, was said to be a myth the entire time. You know, for years and years and years. Agatha, in fact, even in a comic book, Agatha Harkness even said that chaos magic doesn't exist. You know, it's a wise tale. It's a figment.
And Nexus being.
Yes. So that's supposed to be
so
that.
what happens next? So she Agatha asked her, how long were you there? She said 2 days. She goes, 2 days, and you guys were perfectly safe.
Yep.
Let's see what's next.
So then
now they go through the door at Hydra.
They go through the next door. I don't want to be here. I don't want to go through that door.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be reminded.
And this is her introduction to the Mind Stone, which was the scepter that Loki had.
That's what I was about to ask y'all. Was that Loki's scepter that they had?
That was Loki's scepter. Remember, Loki would touch people and it would take over their mind.
In the timeline, where did they get this scepter? In the Marvel timeline.
Right after Avengers. Avengers took the scepter and the Tesseract. Although we now know the Tesseract eventually ends up in. Well, you haven't gotten to that part yet. So we're not gonna get there.
Had to that part yet.
But it was after Avengers 1. They gained power of the scepter and stuff like that. Because I think even when they were doing tests on it with the Tesseract, the scepter was always still there because Tony wanted to do work on it. But they gained it after Avengers 1.
So that's after the first Avengers. Like just staying in timeline for my own.
Yeah, that's right. Hydra did get it. Hydra got it,
Hydra
and then they took it.
Well, they handed it off. Avengers didn't know they were handing it off to Hydra at the time.
Yeah, Wayne hasn't gotten to that yet.
Yes, I haven't gotten to that yet. But I'm trying to find like in the timeline, right? In the timeline. This is right after Avengers.
All right.
So she is right after Avengers at this age, right? So she's now going to. I think they're going to like experiment on her. Would she sign up to?
Yeah, because they say right away. All the other subjects have failed and basically died and stuff like that. And
very interesting about the next scene is that for her, the Mind Stone comes out of its little holder. It has a reveal to her, which looks like her and the Scarlet Witch. Which now subsequently, if you want to look at it on the interwebs, someone has digitized that so that you can see it, and it is her full blown in the costume.
Yeah.
And the scientists are seeing this happen, but when they look back on the tape, it's gone.
It's gone. It just skips.
It wasn't there. And they're like, but we saw that happen. Where did it go? Where did that footage go? And she lives. And now Angela says, so I don't know what the line was exactly, but your interaction with a Infinity Stone awakened a sleeping.
Oh yeah,
something that was something awakened something that would have died on the vine.
Yeah.
Yes.
She made a comment that her powers were, they weren't being they were going to die on the vine, but now this has awakened them.
Right. Because without her being trained or knowing that she was a witch, eventually her power would have just faded. But since she got unlocked by the Mind Stone, like she just super powerful out of nowhere.
And Slap's right. You are right. Hydra did have the scepter at the beginning of Ultron, but without just completely destroying what Wayne is watching because he's actually watching the movies for the first time. The scepter was taken from Loki at the end of Avengers 1.
Right.
And then at that point, I'm not going to put that in because Wayne doesn't know.
We all know what happened in the Winter Soldier. So that's how come Hydra ended up with it.
I want to reverse back a few steps. So because Chris said something about chaos magic. Mm-hmm. So is this where they awaken the chaos magic in her? Is the scepter did that?
I think that's what started it, but I think really, to truthfully be honest with you, I think it was her grief for Vision is what awoke in it, awoke the chaos magic and what awoke what is going on. But I think the Mind Stone helped kickstart it. Because she's able to use it. Because within chaos magic, maybe she didn't fully understand what it was, but that's what helps to put those images into people's minds, like she did in Age of Ultron and be able to do the things that she's been able to do. Because it's not just her powers and where she's able to move things around and stuff like that. She's able to read your minds. Because remember, she even tried reading Agatha's mind down in the basement.
Right. She said,
Exactly.
"You can't
She's like,
read
"No,
my
you can't do
mind.
that."
You never could." Yeah.
You know,
Right.
And the chaos magic in the comic, it comes from it was a power given to her by a demon. I don't remember the name.
I can't remember. It starts with a T. I can't remember.
On.
Okay.
I had a feeling.
JP does it. So
And the reason it was given to her is because he wasn't. He wanted to leave a way for him to come back into this reality.
right.
And
Yeah.
we're going to see him show up at some
So
point.
that's another reason why it might not necessarily
Now,
be
there's a couple
Mephisto,
of
but
things-
it's definitely some type of demonic force.
There's
I
a
don't
couple of
think
things
so, dude.
we're skipping over here, and I think there's some important dialogue that goes to explain Wanda's personality. Even that, you know, when she's under the bed with her brother like, "Hey, I hear voices. Maybe they can help." But Wanda's like, "No, maybe they're the ones that sent the bomb in here."
Yeah.
You know, so she's always a little bit more standoffish and protective.
Yeah.
And then when they go in, you know, Agatha makes the comment. So let me get this straight: you watched your parents die, and
Yep.
you decide to join a, you know,
Terrorist group, basically.
Right.
By,
Yeah,
by the way, if you want to know
basically.
the chaos magic was, where is it? I just found it a moment ago.
Yep.
It was done from the. Let me go back. Really, where was it? It was from Elder God Cylon.
I'm gonna push into the next scene a little, and then I'm gonna back right back out of it. Right. So
Whatever.
as we push into the next
Dawn?
scene, right? And then I'm going to back out to where we are. But if we push into the next scene, Vision kind of tells everybody that she's already very grief stricken.
Yeah.
She's already
Well, at that
very
point,
grief
yeah.
stricken.
She's lost
Now,
her parents
this
and
is-
her brother.
Yes.
And had to leave her
This
own.
is a classic. I don't understand how far out these guys write these movies, man.
I don't.
Because this
just think they
next
have really good
scene that
writers.
she walks in on was referenced in the Civil War when they had her in the tower kind of locked up a little bit because she'd done stuff, and he walked through
the wall.
and on a conversation between her and Captain America, and she said, "Didn't we talk about this?"
Right.
So she's referencing, "Hey, haven't we had a conversation about you phasing through the wall before?" Right. This is the conversation she was referencing.
And she was able to
How
feel
do they
him.
do that? You know, it's just great fan service. So she's in there, she's watching her sitcom, and he phases through the wall, and she's like, "You know, do you want to see me?" Obviously, since you done phase through the wall, and he's amazing in this scene. I mean, anybody that didn't choke a tear back when he dropped that line about grief and love is only love,
persevering,
persevered is just like.
Well, I didn't drop a tear, but I think
God.
they're kind of emotional. That was
Profound. Good job,
so
man.
awesome.
I mean, for somebody who's not supposed to, you know, he's a computer. It was awesome.
Yeah,
and it gave him such a human. Yeah, it gave him such a human tone.
Yep.
And it was probably the beginning of her feelings, maybe.
Yeah,
for him, because it's somebody that's kind of soothing her and comforting her. Yeah. And if you look through these times, she had nobody.
Yeah,
she had nobody at this point. Yep. She had just lost her brother. She's had no parents. She got nobody. And here's this
no country
android who is pure as the he picked up fucking Mjolnir. Okay, I mean, he is worthy.
So let's get into this scene, because this scene could take us, I think, 4 or 5 hours to truly talk about. I mean, because this scene starts explaining the rest of the show, right?
Yes.
I mean, this one.
Well, so now after that, she leaves, and now she goes to go. This dude, he's such a douche, man. She didn't take him, you know. God, he's such a dirtbag,
That's crazy. I said the same thing. I was like, that scumbag,
man, scumbag. Yep. So we finally get to see, you know, the perspective of her going into Sword to go get his body.
Yes,
now, you got to have him buried. How powerful she is. She could have went in there at any time, and the first dude that said no, she could have done bad things to him.
She kind of showed them. When he said, "Let me buzz you in," she kind of showed everybody at that moment. I didn't need you.
Prior to that, even prior to that, just walking into the first guy, if he, you know, Now, I don't remember or not, but did they mess with the tape when he showed that kind of footage? Did her eyes glow red in that scene when she looked up at the camera?
No, that was when she was looking through the drone that her eyes went red. Yeah.
Hold on. One thing. Sorry, I had to stop this just because this actually, for some reason, I don't know why I didn't read this up on earlier, but this actually answers a ton of the questions real quick. Chthon, that's how it's pronounced, Chthon, is an elder god who was known to be of chaos magic. Although is known to be a myth, he was actually deemed, and I think this is where the Eternals is going to come in play later on. But he was deemed into the mirror world. But he was also the author of the Darkhold. Yeah, which we've already seen.
He wrote. Yeah, he wrote all his stuff.
Actually, I think he created vampires
with paper that was indestructible. Something to that effect.
And I believe he created vampires too. So that could play into some.
No, well, the Darkhold is responsible. He is responsible for the creation of dark supernatural forces such as witches, werewolves, and vampires, and is portrayed as the equivalent of the primal devil, which predates the Judeo-Christian teachings.
Well, there you go.
So
because he was proved to be too powerful to destroy. So I still think there's Mephisto. I'm so
Mephisto.
Well, Mephisto might be his son.
I think because they are pointing out that is chaos magic now, and we've also seen the Darkhold. I think there is another element that I never thought of until now, which Chthon, because it also says in here, and this makes a whole lot of sense with tying in the original 3 phases, because Chthon was also, he's been on Earth many times and taking over various host bodies to influence events to benefit his own plans, with each of these hosts being known as the other. One of Chthon's other host bodies came in the service of the madman Titan Thanos. And
can
through
you
the
share your screen so we can see some graphics or images with this?
I can pop it up on the screen. It's just words. It's just that's why I'm just reading it off. But it says, other Chthon advised the Dark Lord in his quest to find all 6 Infinity Stones, believing that Thanos' plans might benefit his own. The Chthon worked alongside the Dark Lord for years as Thanos' second in command and leader of the Cathaury. However, the other service ended when Roman the Accuser killed Chthon's other host body.
Okay.
All right.
So, and that's why
we want to go back to where we were in the
Sorry. It's just great information.
He was going to use her body as his next host.
Chris, take us back in here. She busts through the door and take us to the next spot.
Well, this goes back to where I knew that when he showed that she went in there and she just stood there at his body, I knew that there was something more to that. The director wasn't telling all of it. So she goes and talks to, they tell him to go to the door. She busts open the door and she goes and it ends up talking to the director. Director is looking down. You can see that the body is being disassembled, probably for the 30th time, which she just doesn't know, because we've heard later on that it's been, reassembled and disassembled 100 times. Yeah. But is being disassembled. And she gets mad. She busts the window. She comes down. She puts her hand over his head where the Mind Stone was.
Hold on, but he dropped some knowledge in there, man. He dropped some knowledge in there, and he also kind of hints that he knows more, because he says something very huge to her.
Yeah, he says, if we can't just give the body to someone who possibly bring him back to life, like something to that effect.
He said, you can bring him back online. And she goes, what? He goes, well, you can bring him back to life. And she's like, and the look in her face is like, no.
That's the second time someone said she has the power to bring him back to life.
But so they're giving her, they're pushing her. They're just kind of like, you can bring her.
Yeah, I was going to say Haywood knows something more, because how would he know that? How would he know she could bring somebody back to life?
I like the point where he told her, I'm not letting you bury that much money in metal.
I'm not letting you bury $3 billion of vibranium in the ground.
No. Right.
But then he also she says, he's all that I have. In this line, so he goes, he's not yours.
Yeah.
And that's when she busts the glass.
Yeah.
Floats down there. He calls off the guards so that she can have her moment, and she can't feel him. She just can't. She uses her magic, and she's like, and you could feel it. You could see it in her eyes. I felt it. I felt it in her eyes.
I think he knew it was best to call them off.
And then she walks off without the body, and I'm like, "You some bitch!" I knew it.
That's when my jaw hit the ground.
I
thought
knew you lied. You lying son of a bitch. And she leaves. Now, question is, I interpreted that when she got back to her car, that letter wasn't there. My wife interpreted that letter was always there.
Yeah, it was there.
The letter was always there.
Yeah.
And she went to the body first and then came back. It was going to go there. Now, the letter is actually a deed.
Yeah.
It's a deed to a property in Westfield, New Jersey. Now, when she first drives through this town,
it's a shithole.
Yeah.
It's a shithole, dude. It is.
But you recognize a lot of the characters. You recognize a lot of the characters that have been in the show as she's driving through town.
What they're doing tells you everything. When the guy staples a piano lessons, he's broke. He's looking for some extra money. You know, if he's trying to the older lady, you know,
Mrs.
she
Hart,
was not looking happy
out
in front of
without her husband.
whatever she was. She wasn't looking all happy. When she drove past the pool, it was all gross and funky and nasty.
Yep.
And she pulls into the driveway of what is just a concrete foundation. And you get the reveal that this was a deed of trust, and it had a heart in it, and it said, what did it say in it?
Oh, I didn't write it down.
It says, where we grow old together.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect.
Where we grow old together. Something like that. Place to grow old together. And then it just signed
that was
V.
the tearjerker to me. That was like oh man, that was
just signed V with a heart. Now, yeah, I've seen movies like this before, and I don't want to just shit on everyone's career, but, what was the movie I was watching the other day? What if Vision never wrote that? What if someone else wrote that? Because
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. That wasn't Vision. That somebody else wrote that, thinking it was him.
Wrote that to get her to go there, because that specific place. There's a place in the comic book world called, New Salem, where
all the witches went.
It's kind of like people don't see it's there, but it's really there. But all the witches are up in there, and that's in the
why did Agatha have that type of basement down there? That would have already had to be there.
It's New Salem, and I don't know, because Agatha later says, "I came here after feeling, seeing that there's this huge influx of magic." So I don't know, So where I lost my track.
She could have did all that stuff in the basement using magic, like.
True.
So
wait, the point where she loses it.
Yeah, she loses it. This is
it. Explodes and builds the house first. I think it builds the house first, and then builds the town.
It explodes out right from there,
and then builds Vision.
But it almost seemed like once she did it, it was just complete grief, and it was her moment that anybody within grief finally gets to a point that they just have to explode and let it all out. She did it in a way that it created this, but all of a sudden, once it created this, and she sees Vision in black and white, and then she sees herself in black and white, she just like, dude, this is something. This is my happy place. Maybe
she just got lost in it.
So it's almost like she just accepted.
Her first burst was red. Everything was red. But then when it came time to do Vision, it was all yellow.
The mind
it was all yellow.
It's the mind.
Now, that explained why Vision was coming apart as he was walking out of the bubble.
Yeah, he was created.
He's part of the bubble. I mean, he's not real. Like, he is.
So, you get that closing scene from the end of episode 1, and then you hear the.
Yeah.
And they back out to the full-blown studio set, which is really cool. And she's up in like where the audience would be. Bravo. And you hear the screams of the kids. Oh, shit. Wow, I forgot about the kids. Where are the kids at? And she runs out to the street. Agatha is literally floating in the air. Now, this is what doesn't make sense to me. If Agatha knows that she has Wanda powerless,
that's one of the questions I have
in the space.
Right. Why would you leave the basement?
I still think they're in the basement.
Because also once Agatha got to see that how she made everything and what the chaos is, now she goes, shit. This is what was a myth. This is what shouldn't exist. Now she's afraid of it.
Yeah,
you
shouldn't exist. Why leave the basement? You had her powerless. The crap out of her.
They still are in the basement.
Spontaneous creation.
Yes.
Is that the term she used?
Yes, spontaneous creation. Yes.
You shouldn't exist. You're a myth.
All right. If they're not in the basement, how did they get out?
Through the doors.
They just ran out.
The doors were still in the basement. They
were
just
a spell, though. It was
that's right in the basement.
She went. Remember when she was when they went to the form of the kid. They were there, and then she like jumped into the realm of her being a kid. You know, so it's almost like her reliving that moment over again. So when they stepped into the studio at Sword, it was like her reliving that again. So she stepped into that and recreated what had happened. So she's already out and about. Those doors have keep opening up to different areas to get her to recreate. She has to recreate it for Agatha to understand what happened.
Okay, so technically, when she says you're the Scarlet Witch, which is the first time it's ever been used, if you want to know, in all of the Marvel movies, she has only been referenced a witch one time. Yeah, by Iron Man, who called her. What do you call her?
Oh,
did that little witch get in your head?
Yeah, witch get in your head.
Like that. Yeah, did that little witch get in your head? That was the only time she had ever been referenced as a witch. And funny that dirtbag douchebag during episode 3 when they were sitting around the table and he's like, yeah, they got radicalized as kids. And Cho's like,
trying to demonize her, trying to make her look like
and then he says, well, doesn't she have a nickname? And he goes, no, she doesn't have a nickname.
Right. And in that episode, I told you guys by the end of the show, they're gonna call her Scarlet Witch.
Call her Scarlet
Boom!
Witch.
I was right on something.
Yeah.
Right, fade to black, and then we come back to
Vision White.
White Vision.
Now,
yeah, buddy.
They harness the power of the probe that they sent in, and he makes the line, nothing we could do fired this guy up, basically.
That's when they said they took him apart, they put him together, they took him apart, they put him together.
And we can get him fired up. He doesn't have a Mind Stone. It kind of looks like a little mini arc reactor up in his
head. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And they use this Wanda power to fire him up. But now here's my spoiler. This is my personal spoiler. He never speaks.
Right.
When he speaks,
think it's gonna be Ultron, don't you?
It's gonna be freaking James Spader's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be Ultron.
He doesn't know what the F he's messing with.
Yeah. Because the whole reason Vision became Vision was Jarvis's programming and the
Would that be crazy? That'd
so
be nuts.
Without Jarvis's programming and the Mind Stone,
when he finally says something,
you have Ultron.
Well, we did say the whole time there's a very good possibility Ultron's coming back.
Yeah. So he's going to come back in this form. That was crazy.
All right. No, Wayne's been salivating for the last 45 minutes.
It's just White Vision. So in the comic book White Vision, he blows himself up. The same thing's going to happen in WandaVision. He's going to come down there. He's going to remember Wanda. They're going to be just ruining the world, fighting it out, and he's going to blow himself up.
There's a scene
that's also going to be the start of the multiverse. So because of that, she is going to grab her kids, make multiple universes, and then you're going to have the multiverse that's going to start all at the same time. Watch what I tell you. That's how this one ends.
Write it down.
That's how this one ends.
Yeah, boy.
To be honest with you, where I think this goes, and if we're gonna do our predictions here of where I think this goes, I think Mephisto does come out. He's still working for Agatha. Agatha is working in the dark arts. Agatha's been with Mephisto for years. He's been working on this. The kids are made from the shards of Mephisto's soul, and he's going to come up. He wants the kids because that's how he gets to come back to Earth. Now, Chthon is somewhere in there. I haven't figured that part out yet. But
I think he's
going to come back, and then you have a scene in there. Now, mind you, Marvel has been very good at showing us scenes and trailers that don't exist anywhere in things. But if we're going to use a little bit of that, there is a scene that has been in trailers that, you know, where Vision turns to, because remember, last time we saw Vision is he said, "Screw you cameras," and he flew off. We have not seen Vision back since. So I think there's going to be a point where he's going to turn. There's going to be a big fight scene. There's going to be a big fight scene. It's going to show up. Spectrum's going to be in there. Nightmare is going to be in there. Mephisto's going to be there. Agatha's going to be there. And, you know, Vision
throw them all out there. Just throw
let's
them
get
all
our home back.
wall.
And she expands. In the end of this thing, she's going to expand this world and unlock the X gene in all these mutants at once.
I think that part's right. I think she is going to like snap and it's going to like blow all over the world, activate all the X genes. But I also think she's going to create all the multiverses so that she can hide with her kids in safety. That's what I tell you.
Mephisto takes the kids. Takes the kids.
Well, I don't think she's going to create the multiverses, but she's going to open the door, which is going to make them start to bleed into each other. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think, all right, since we're talking predictions.
No predictions. I'm all for this right now. Predictions.
First of all, I think Vision's going to die. One way or the other, Vision's done. There's a possibility that the soul version of Vision, which Wanda created, merges with the body part of Vision, and he comes back. Possibly. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's a possibility. I'm just throwing it out there. But the reason why I think Vision's going to die, not only because it's like he has to die because Wanda has to lose it, but remember, Spider-Man Far From Home happens like 5 months after this, and they memorialize Vision in that movie on the screen. So either the world doesn't know he's alive or he's dead. So that I picked up on. I was like, cool. But I also think that the kids are going to disappear because the demon, Mephisto, whoever wants the kids is going to get those kids. And Wanda is going to open the multiverse because she's going to be going through them trying to find other versions of her kids, which is why next Doctor Strange is Multiverse of Madness because he's got to close all the doors.
Where Wanda becomes the villain.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. That sounds really
I think she's going to be the villain we all love. I am convinced.
There's been multiple references to Nightmare. We saw him in the you know,
there was
early
another one
on.
in this one too.
Even in this one where the TV comes back on, which it should have been blown up, and they're laying under the bed and it's looped on him saying, "Oh man, this is a nightmare. Oh, this is a nightmare. Oh, this is a nightmare." I mean,
I was going to throw that in the
Easter egg. And would it be wasted if they didn't use it? We heard that Nightmare was going to be part of this Doctor Strange multiverse thing. So it looks like it's more Nightmare than Mephisto. Now, as far as the mutant thing's concerned, this was my spec on that. And I mentioned this before. I'm going to give it to you one more time. This is my theory. There's going to be a lot of displaced children that came back 5 years after the snap. For whatever reason, their homes are broken now. Okay. There's going to be a school that takes all of those snap children in. Her next boom of the hex is going to encompass Xavier's school for the gifted.
I think everywhere for a split second.
And turn everybody in that school into the first class of X-Men.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my guess on that one.
I think it's gonna encapsulate Earth all within a split second, but I also think that's when Vision blows itself up. So you know,
I will say her kids have to go because at some point her kids have to go, whether they're taken by Nightmare, Mephisto, whoever.
They have to go.
They have to go because that's how Wanda goes apeshit crazy.
I still don't think this is her
losing her kids.
I still don't think this is her kids. I think she made them just like she made Vision.
No,
I still don't think this is her kids.
They're real.
I still think that
Like
this isn't them.
Spontaneous creation is.
I think
she
she
created it.
Yeah.
She created a lot.
Created those kids. Yeah.
So Mephisto would
this
have
is what I'm begging for. You ready for my begging? This is what I'm begging for. And I don't have to see him. I don't have to see him. We don't have to see it. But you have to hear it. At some point during the trailer, the end credit, whatever it is, I just need to hear hoo-ha.
Oh yeah, that's Mephisto.
It might be an end.
He's showing up, dude. I swear to God.
You know what it means.
When you guys watch the next episode and see Mephisto show up or make that sound, you're gonna be like, "Shit, Chris was right."
Hey, look,
Chris,
look.
man, I hope you're right. You have no idea.
I
It's
know
like
JB
during
does.
the Super Bowl when you're rooting for your team. I hope you're right, but damn, I don't think you're right.
Look, and y'all have been right so far. Y'all been spot on. Every one of y'all, every time you say something, spot on. But I'm telling y'all, if y'all read the White Vision, that how it ends is how I think this is ending. I think that it's going to end similar, like they have loosely followed the comics. And I didn't know this until I started going out actively looking for the Vision and Scarlet Witch comics. Right, there's only 1 through 12 of them, which is right kind of where we are right now.
Series. There's
Oh,
two
I didn't
different
know
series.
that.
There's a 1 through 4 and a 1 through 12.
Okay, I didn't know that.
1 through 4 and a 1 through 12. Yeah, there's two different.
The story has been loosely following that 1 through 12. I mean, when I say loosely, it's kind of like
it's got some stuff from there, yeah. But
yes,
now it's getting into this. It's getting into this West Coast Avengers, that explanation of her being a Nexus being.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking huge. And what that means for what the MCU is trying to accomplish with the multiverse, you needed to establish a center point, something that was going to be constant. And that's what she is. There's actually 2 beings, I think. What's the other Nexus being? Swamp Thing,
Loki.
I can't remember.
Loki's a Nexus being.
He's a Nexus being.
Swamp Thing, and also Kang the Conqueror. He's
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang's a
Franklin
Nexus
Richards.
being, yep.
Well,
Franklin
which also
Richards.
brings in the engineer, because who is Kang's father?
Well, grandfather or great grand or something like that. Yeah.
Well, no,
yeah.
Kang's parents are Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
No,
I thought that was
no.
his great grandfather or something like that. Yeah.
No,
Franklin
Reed Richards
Richards is their son.
gave birth to
Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards, the most powerful.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Ever.
The most powerful mutant. I mean, the most powerful MCU character. I think in the end, when they were doing the history of the Marvel Universe, it's Franklin Richards talking to Galactus, right? And they're having a conversation about, yeah, it's over. Yeah. But you know what? Since we're still around, we should kind of talk about how it all went down. And that whole book is from the perspective of just those two having a conversation.
He was a descendant of Reed Richards and named Nathaniel Richards.
Yeah, he's like a great grandson or something like that.
Man Thing. Thank you, Yessie Lou.
Man
Thank
Thing.
you.
Man Thing's awesome. They need to bring
Swamp
Man
Thing's
Thing
a
back.
DC property.
I would love to see Man Thing on a big screen.
Man Thing
would be awesome.
Look, I think that Marvel is going to use WandaVision to explain a lot of things that were unexplained before.
I think they're gonna let you explain a lot of things, but they're also gonna leave you in the dark with a lot of things too.
Oh yeah.
I think their timeline is going to be absolutely perfect in that they're going to cliffhang us into the next series, which is going to carry a little bit of it, not a lot, but there's at least something, enough nugget to keep you tasting. And then when you get to Loki, that is going to open it all up, because that Loki series is about him literally jumping from realities, and they have to explain how you get to that before you get to this Doctor Strange and ultimately the Spider-Man movie.
Which is gonna Wanda. She freaked. She flipped out.
Yeah, I think so. It's crazy.
But I really do think that my investment into Silver Surfer 3 because of Mephisto was.
All I'm saying is you're gonna see this. You're gonna see this guy. You're gonna see this guy in the next episode. Ready?
Tell me. I hope you're right, man.
You're gonna see this guy in the next episode.
That's pretty badass.
I'll be doing cartwheels.
I'm
Oh,
telling you.
you did that, but that's pretty badass.
We'll see on the next review. Just pay attention to JB's attitude and his mood.
If I'm salty, there was no Mephisto to be had.
Here's a question, JB. How far off do you think I am in Vision blowing up?
I think you're very close.
No, I think that's
very
good.
close
I don't think that they both come out of it. Either they fuse together, both die.
Yeah,
which
maybe that's how he has to destroy
both
him.
die. You know, I think you're on there. Either way, she has to feel the ultimate pain. She's got to lose it all again.
To lose Vision
she has
again.
to lose it all
twice again, because she's gonna have his body and his soul gone.
Yeah. Oh man.
And lose her kids. Yeah.
It's been a really good one though, guys. It really has. This has been a really good one.
Oh, it's crazy.
Disney's
I wish I was further along in
come
Marvel
on.
than I am, but it's been a really good one.
Disney's got us.
I really
Don't forget this image. Just don't forget this image right there.
If I wasn't
do that. That's cool.
If I wasn't
Dude.
doing these reviews with you guys, I wouldn't even have watched the last 2 episodes. I would have just waited.
I know we're not talking Star Wars till later, but oh my goodness, these toys are amazing. These guys are.
What's that? The Black Series?
He likes those Black Series a
Black
lot.
Series.
They're nice. Man.
So
they're awesome.
freaking
I have
cool,
a Black
man.
Series Rebel Trooper around.
I got Han Solo, the Blue Stormtrooper. I can't remember which one he is, and one of the Ewoks over there. I like the Black Series. So I wish you could pose them better than you can, though. You just can't pose them that well.
Nice. Excellent.
JK, what you got going on next? Talk about.
I got videos coming.
It'll all sound like me now. I don't know. There's something there.
And that's always been my.
Make sure you tune in.
Actually, Chase's Kingdom sent me a box for my birthday because he thought my birthday passed, but my birthday's coming up. So I opened that. Video should be out by Monday, hopefully. Oh, today's Sunday. By Tuesday, hopefully. Maybe Monday, depending on how much I work on it. Of course, my birthday stream. I sent you guys all invites March 17th. Me and Popped Heat, our birthdays are that week. I'm the 18th, he's the 19th. So that's going to be our birthday stream. So you guys can come hang out. Huh?
Is St. Patrick's Day? When is it?
Yeah, March 17th is St.
Patrick's
Patrick's Day.
Yes.
So,
yeah, it's a hell of a party, man. Come on.
Nah, actually, my mother's birthday is St. Patrick's Day. So that's kind of funny. But I got that coming up. My Patreon, guys. Go check out my Patreon. I only got one Patreon.
Check out the Patreon. We'll have another one here in a second.
I do have to comment on this. I whatever channel it is, I can't see that being a point.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, they copied the shows. That was the point that they would.
Well, they gave tribute to these great shows.
Right.
But they explained it in the first door. The first door, that was her happy place.
She went to that. Those are happy places.
Those sitcoms were like her happy place. So she was just reliving her happy place throughout all of this.
Even if they didn't even really explain why she was going through the sitcoms, you could easily just get that from the show that she's depressed and that those were her happy moments.
Yes.
Like, because we all have that. We can all watch old TV shows and feel that nostalgia when we were kids watching a certain show. So I didn't even need to see it. I just kind of assumed it. Like
the difference is she had enough power to live it. I mean, that was the difference. She had enough power.
I can imagine, man. Listen, I would have been in the A-Team, jumping out the van.
I'd have been Murdoch. Just heads up. I'd have played Murdoch.
Well, I guess I'm the designated BA, huh?
I love Murdoch was always getting Mr. T. You expected Murdoch to get beat up every episode.
Doesn't that make JB the general?
JB yeah, he would have to be Hannibal, right? So I guess you're saying you're the face man, huh?
Chris, what do you got going on next week you want to talk about?
I'll follow up JKL. I got some videos.
You got stuff.
I got stuff coming. No, I do have stuff coming. Of course, a lot of you guys know I'm going to be working on some videos as well as I got the new membership stuff. I'll be working on this week. Hopefully, get ready for Friday for anybody that wants to join the membership. But, it's not nothing that anybody has to do. But hey, if it's there and you guys want to do it, it's more than welcome. But I'll be working on it this week go
Friday
from there.
We're doing our thing too, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Comic Wings. Forgot all about that.
next Friday, JKL and I are doing the Comic Wing Challenge from Wingstop. And
was it 10 wings?
You guys never learn? What is wrong with you?
I wondered the same thing.
We do this so you guys don't have to. And I still question my life.
What flavors are you doing? What are you doing? Is there an atomic or something?
The atomic, yeah. It's the hottest wing to have.
No, don't do the atomic, dude. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
JB, what do you got going on? Anything going on next week you want to talk about?
Let's see. I have an appearance every Thursday on the Lords of the Long Box, the Shakers list. I'm enjoying that. Every Thursday, I also drop my top 10 list, which is just what I'm reading. I'm physically going out to the comic book store and reading, not for spec value. But I'll tell you what, if you watch that video, at least like a minute 30 of it, and comment, you can get yourself an entry and Wayne's wife has got an entry to win yourself
for the PS5.
PS5. That's right. So
PS5, I gotta get in there.
And drop
Definitely
a
gotta get in there.
on there so that you can get that chance to win that. And beyond that, I have a lot of stuff to open. I just did an unboxing earlier today where I opened up some like crazy fire, a lot of early Star Wars comic books, a lot of key Star Wars that I will be sitting on waiting for end of next year when Book of Boba comes out.
That
So
yellow one.
Wait, you gotta catch up now. Right? You got new sets of comics. You got to.
I've already been trying. JB already like told me to go after the Boba Fett's. You just can't buy them. Everybody is like JB. They got mass knowledge way before my little brain did, and they've all hoarded them up and everywhere they could hoard them.
Yeah,
you can find them. Yeah. If you can find them, they're like $1,000 for this one. You're like, it's not even a key. They're like, I don't care.
I don't know if I want to make a video out of these, but I bought these because the nostalgia factor. Man, guys. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, Star Wars cards. I used to have them.
Dude, I bought a whole bunch of Star Wars cards because, I mean, I had these as a kid, and my wife's like, "What are you doing? Are you freaking nuts? What are you wasting money on that for?"
You know, it's funny.
Like, if I bust these out once a year, I'm gonna get misty-eyed over it.
Yeah,
just going through these.
There was a store here in Manhattan that I took my kids to. I think like 2 years ago. And they had a bunch of they have like all these old cards, and Star Wars was one of them they had up there. And they're like $2 a pack. And I was like, oh, I should buy some of these. But I was like, you know what? We didn't come here for this. Let's get whatever. I guarantee you, I go to that store today. They're probably gone. I need to go see if they still have them. They had all these old packs of old Star Wars cards that come with the bubble gum in them. You know, that hard ass piece of bubble gum.
Hard, yeah. You could still eat it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going.
Couple of unboxing videos, top 10 video. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Sounds really good. I have everything going on next week, like always. Just come check me out. It's everything that I always have going on.
Everything.
My edits might get like messed up though, because I've kind of did a different video that I haven't done in a long time. So I'm gonna see what the reaction is on the video. So I did one of those like more vlogging styles just because Target pissed me off and he like set a fire and made me like go on a rant for like an hour and a half. It's only like a 10-minute long video, but it kind of got away. It's gonna be different. It's definitely gonna be different, but I'm known for being different. So that's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. Guys, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. And I will see y'all next week. Have a good one.
Later.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.